the people being outside of that courthouse, being outside of a British magistrate's court in the middle of London and watching all of this unfold and then hearing these songs where in a lot of them, you know, the lyrics are explaining near enough the exact same story of scapegoating of someone who, you know, who could be just like Liam Óg, maybe 50 years ago or 100 years ago.
And occupation or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and it spills over to other oppressed peoples. It's one of the reasons I think Kneecap have had such a effect abroad. You know, you think about like Australia and things like that. They had like a massive crowd for an outdoor gig that they did, and it's like the reason these things translate. If you think about like their music or their art, like it's very specific to where I grew up. And so it's understandable why I would listen to the music or why I would enjoy the film, but then it's translated because at a deeper level, it's about more than just like, you know, doing cat in Belfast.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else to do. It's like they're speaking their language as like a form of resistance. And so people, you know, native people all across the world are relating to that. And speaking about like drinking songs, like these kind of songs, just the act of singing them is the focus point here, because like
it's an act of protest. It's an act of anti-colonial protest.
Because we think about like it might seem trivial because, you know, to maybe people in Britain or in America or something, the way that you fight back against oppression or the way that you protest is with you know, hard facts and with political representation and all of these very official mediums. But throughout Irish history, like the only way at times for us to resist occupation or to resist oppression is by secretly learning our own language or teaching our kids Asgailga and singing those songs, or being able to pass down a story and the true history of what your you know, your ancestors have gone through. Those things were illegal and punishable under the British state in Ireland. And so the reason that there's such a connection to those songs is because not that long ago it was actively very dangerous to be singing them, even if you're just singing about like your girlfriend or like being in the pub with your mates. Like it's a very significant action of just saying we have our culture, we exist.
Specifically in the context of Northern Ireland, I mean, like coming slightly off the music side of things, but I mean, up until very recently, the act of speaking Irish in the North was something that A, was not recognized as a legitimate act.
Yeah.
B, was minimized by the leaders of the country. Like I'm thinking of like the crocodile tears comment by Arlene Foster. Gregory Campbell has claimed that he's spoken Irish in Stormont in a couple of years ago by just saying English words that sound like they might be Irish.
Yeah.
Curry my yogurt is something that he said. And claimed that he said Gurmahagat.
Yeah.
But like all of this kind of thing, it's minimizing culture, it's minimizing identity, and it's like I mean, we could get into the why of that, and I think both of us would probably say that there's some aspect of like a lack of identity or a dearth in cultural meaning and significance for people from that community in the North. But particularly in the UK as well, I mean, like you've got the Fontaines DC song In Our Cairde Joe, that is a reference to a gravestone of a woman who died a couple of years ago in Coventry and wanted to have the phrase In Our Cairde Joe written on her gravestone. In Our Cairde Joe means in our hearts forever. And the graveyard refused because it seemed that it would be sympathizing with terrorism.
Yeah.
To have a phrase like that.
Yeah.
That was in the 2020s in Britain. Whether it's Irish people that are listening to Kneecap outside of any solidarity with Palestine, because I mean, like, we've all got an intrinsic solidarity with Palestine. I've said it before in this podcast. People are aware of it. The significance of them as a group for us for the longest time cannot be understated, because whether you're in the north, whether you're in the south, I was lucky enough that I was able to learn Irish in school, but there was no rap group that I could listen to. I didn't know how to swear in Irish. I didn't know how to buy drugs in Irish. Kneecap taught me all of that, you know.
And this is why they're an addition to our community and why we need to keep them out of jail. It's mad. I got asked the other day, sort of, because there's a very in vogue thing about Irishness at the minute. You got your Paul Mescals and your Kneecaps and your Fontaines, and
Tony Boyle is going to be huge now. I'm telling everyone now, Anthony Boyle. He's a West.
Oh yeah, no, he will. He is. Yeah, he was class.
Huge.
I'm looking forward to seeing that House of Guinness, actually.
I think it's better now.
We didn't even get paid to say that. But yeah, no, I was asked the other day. It's quite in vogue to be Irish, or at least in pop culture it is today. And I got asked like how it feels to be Irish, specifically from Belfast, living in London, and sort of seeing this kind of like, I don't know, like our generation of people in England kind of adopting, in some ways fetishizing or caricaturizing. You know, it's not uncommon to be in East London and to see like a white middle class English fella with like a Claddagh ring and a Fontaine's t-shirt, and he's like, his favorite drink is Guinness, and like, you know, and it's initially it's strange, but also like I wouldn't be quick to like criticize those things, because it wasn't that long ago that people outside of Ireland, particularly in England, their interpretation of us would have been as terrorists. And so if the trade-off for that is that like someone with a really thin mustache is like drinking a lot of Guinness, like I think that's an improvement. And I think it's a testament to the fact that there's access to information that we've had, because it's been passed down to us from our parents and grandparents. Particularly for me, like obviously I was born a year before the ceasefire, so like my parents and grandparents lived through an active sort of violent occupation, and like we learn that and we take it for granted. And then it was a culture shock for me to come here, and people don't even know anything about it. They sort of like
entity to
they maybe have an inkling of like, oh yeah, like we used to like, you know, colonize people when we had like big wooden boats and stuff. But like for it to be a living memory for like me, my family, and people from the north, and then to come here and people my age and even older don't know anything. Like you had mentioned the Troubles, and they'd be like, what's that? You know what I mean? It's not their fault.
Why am I in trouble?
Yeah.
What did I do?
But it's not like their fault necessarily. It's like it's a British propaganda machine just churning out whatever suits its narrative, and that's to not tell people about the atrocities that they've committed. And I just find that really baffling. You know?
Calling freelancers, small and mid-sized business owners. Tide's Instant Saver account offers up to 4% AER variable, flexible access, and competitive returns.
Unlike other options on the market, you won't need to hold your money with Tide for a fixed period. That means you'll have instant access and free withdrawals whenever you need it.
You can get started today with just £1, making it easy to start growing your business savings.
Want to know what you'll earn? Tide's clever calculator gives you a clear picture up front.
Our audience will receive £100 cash back when you deposit £5,000 within the first 30 days of opening your Tide Instant Saver account.
Use code JOE, that's JOE, JOE. New members receive an annual equivalent rate of up to 4% AER variable, free for 6 months. For the full offer, visit tide.co/Joe. T's and C's apply.
That's the thing the Kneecap say all the time. You know, we're not anti-British, we're anti-British government, right? And that's kind of like, both of us can attest to it, that like, it can be kind of an eye roll moment when you see a boy that's like, oh, you should listen to these boys, the Dubliners, they're sick, man. They're like, all right, I thought they were dorks when I was a kid. I love them now, but it's kind of annoying that you love them as well. But there's then like, I mean, both of us, and I'm not saying that it's equivalent to what happened in the 70s, 60s, 50s, to Irish people here, but both of us have experiences of anti-Irish discrimination in London.
Oh yeah.
To sacrifice that for people being like, you're actually cool just because you're from that other island.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, okay, grand, fine,
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah, sound.
Yeah.
But like, you do see it, and you do hear it from people that like, and it almost becomes a cliche if you're out on a night out or whatever it might be, that you end up talking about politics in a way that English people have never heard people talk about politics before.
Yeah. There's a sentiment of like almost like apology.
Yeah.
You know.
But like, it is not your fault.
Yeah.
The best thing that you can do in this space of like decolonizing thought, decolonizing history, especially if you're going to a protest like the one today,
Yeah.
you are there as a sponge. You don't need to feel guilty for not knowing anything prior to that. And it's kind of the sentiment that like that builds so well around these demonstrations, is that everyone feels welcome. Like there was at the first protest, I think there were 2 belligerents that were in the crowd. Not a single issue with removing them from the crowd. There was no aggravation from the pro-Kneecap, pro-Palestine side whatsoever. There were 0 aggravating counter-protesters at the last one, apart from the odd person walking by saying something like Greater Israel is going to happen or something like that.
Yes,
but like
supporting terrorists.
The sentiment is so strong and so solid that there's nothing that's going to be able to crack the conviction of the people that are there, because everyone knows I'm here in support of this man that has stood up for the rights of the oppressed person. Everyone here understands the metaphor of the musical medium, the speakers and the medium that they're talking through, whether it's poetry, whether it's art, whether it's literature. All of these things happen in symbiosis, and everyone may not understand every individual aspect of it, but they blend together in like a unity of like defiance against the oppressive, whether it's the Israeli system or is it the British system. They're all intertwined, and everyone understands that it's a continuous struggle rather than an
Usually these things are nuanced, and of course within individual instances there obviously is a lot of nuance to be taken into account, but I don't think we've ever seen in recent history a clearer example of straight good versus evil. Like the lengths that are being gone to like justify the most horrific things that are like, this is the thing, that they're not even like happening by accident. They're not happening as a matter of routine. Make no mistake, like these institutions, whether it's the IDF, the Israeli state, the weapons companies that are being funded by the UK and the US, like they are trying their very hardest to innovate and get creative with new ways to murder unarmed civilians. Like none of it's by accident. It's calculated and it's intended.
And there's now the kind of rowing back of the last 2 years of complicity, where states like Britain, like France, will turn around now and say, well, it is so bad now, what we're going to do is recognize the state.
Well, this is the thing that pisses me off the most, is like, you know, Keir Starmer is in like the press room at 10 Downing Street sniffing his own farts because he's recognized finally a state that Britain invented 70 odd years ago, and he's like, we're taking a real stance here by doing this. It's like nearly 100,000 people are dead. Do you know what I mean? And you're like patting yourself on the back and saying, yeah, we're making headway here. It's like, but you're still supplying weaponry, still selling arms to Israel. You're still trading with Israel. There's no boycotts on Israeli goods. Like, it's baffling how silly they think that the public are. and then they're surprised when there's like 1 million plus people marching through central London every Saturday for the last like 2 years. Yeah, it's baffling. Like
They've been found out. The case with Kneecap is one of several things that seem to be a conflict between the British public and the British establishment, where we're now saying, oh, as you put it there, we're willing to recognize a state that we invented 70 years ago. At the same time, anybody that is willing to show solidarity with that state is going to jail.
Yeah, it's so mad. Like they raised a flag, a Palestinian flag outside like the new embassy and stuff that they opened the other day. But it's like if you actively not even support anything in particular, if you just oppose the idea of like hospitals being bombed in this state that you now recognize, you're going to jail because you're a terrorist.
Thanks to Tide and their instant savings account for sponsoring this week's podcast.
New members receive an annual equivalent rate of up to 4% AER variable.
Our audience will receive £100 cash back when you deposit £5,000 within the first 30 days of opening your Tide Instant Saver account.
Use code JOE. For the full offer, visit tide.co/Joe. T's and C's apply.